Welcome back, everyone, to game number 2 between VG Potential. I keep thinking of them as Live Gaming, but Terrorblade and VG Potential, so VG second squad. This is game number 2 in the best of 3. VG taking a game number 1 pretty convincingly with, a sweep through the map and ending up taking the enemy base and a team wiper at the end where Terrorblade were trying to defend. You know, they definitely tried their hardest and showed they had the spirit to fight on. But there's just a little bit too much class there from VG.P. Let's see if in game number 2 they can do anything different or draft themselves into a stronger positioning laning phase. And also welcome in Scan. How did you feel about game number 1?
Yeah, exactly as you said, and as I was saying in the previous game, that game sort of snowballed from lane stage into base siege. Really never a place that you want to be in if you're a Terrorblade. The amount of farm that everyone on VG Gang Potential had, the SF, the Weaver especially, were just so far ahead from the get-go. Was really difficult to catch up, but this time they've picked up the advantage for themselves, which is important because I was saying before that they only had the A and the ET. They had no stuns, they couldn't make kills, and they also didn't have a very efficient way to react if VG Gaming Potential did something, whereas now once Venge is level 6 they'll have that swap themselves. Plus the Axe a much stronger laner, I think. So immediately Terrorblade with a totally different strategy in this game. And going into the second ban phase, they banned the Tidehunters, so I guess that was something that annoyed them. They didn't want to have the 1-2 punch of the Tidehunter and Earthshaker.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary. But Terrorblade, the first 4 or 5 minutes, their laning stage looked really good. They had the Lina against Shadow Fiend mid. The SF was outplaying the Lina just a little bit, but it was still pretty damn strong. Then you had the bot lane. The dual lane was annoying. It was getting plenty of experience and a few last hits there, here and there. Then you had the Slark and AA top doing well against the Tide. It's just the mid game completely crumbled. And like you said, they didn't have that lockdown or disable for them to smoke gang. They were all quite reliant on farming and getting their levels. And VG knew this. They just did not give them the opportunity to open up the map for themselves. They took control of the enemy jungle, warded up. Both teams are warding each other's ancients, knowing how important they were to the heroes like Beastmaster and Tidehunter. But in this game, we're not going to have Tide. Venge and Axe, like you said, up against the SF and ES. Terrorblade now with their 4th ban. What are we looking for here?
Well, it's a big ban. We mention this every time, but after this ban, VG Gang Potential will get to ban and immediately pick. So this is a ban to think a lot about. Because you're not going to get to react to the next ban. Not directly anyway. So they ban out the Juggernaut. I guess another hero that's pretty difficult to deal with. Well, the Axe is actually one of the better heroes at dealing with Juggernaut. So maybe it's the fact that Juggernaut's also a powerhouse at getting the early farm and pushing your base to the healing ward.
Yeah, suddenly at 20 minutes he's got Mask of Madness, Yasha face boots, and you don't know what to do to deal with him. I had a game last night, in fact, where I had an Axe on my team, Juggernaut on the enemy team, and there seems to be a bug in the game where, I don't know if it's certain heroes or there's something you do input-wise, but Berserker's Call doesn't always work. Twice in the game last night I had the Axe jumped on the Juggernaut, used Berserker's Call, and for about half a second, you could see that, Juggernaut went red, he was stun-locked in that Berserker's Call. All of a sudden, he would free himself, magically be able to Omni-Slash or run away or hit people, and I just couldn't understand what was going on. I don't know if there's, a small glitch in the game. I heard from a couple of people, if you input a spell command, or, you cast a spell in the same frame as you're being called, you can debuff yourself or, try and dodge it, but there's something weird going on with Call.
I have yet to see this, but it sounds quite fascinating, so I hope it happens in this game.
No, we hope it doesn't happen in this game. We don't want to see bugs. We want the clean experience. We want the true Axe, where he's jumping in and getting those mini RPs.
I want it to happen in an irrelevant situation. Maybe on creeps. How about if he calls some neutral creeps and they just ran away from him? That'll be great to see.
Why would they ever run away?
They were busy. The troll was busy healing people, and then he gets called and he's like, no, actually I want to go back here and heal people.
I want to throw some Satyr blasts out. I want to go and heal people and raise skeletons from the dead. VG.P picking up a Witch Doctor to combo up with their Earthshaker. So this draft right now from VG.P is almost identical to drafts that we see in Europe. Shadow Fiend, ES, Witch Doctor. You've got the holding support in the ES. The Fisher can be aggressive or defensive with the Shadow Fiend raises. Try and save the SF if the Venge does smoke up and gang mid. And Witch Doctor a good zoning support. Can stack and pull, get levels in the jungle, while the solo safe lane does his own thing. It's just the bans that are, a little more unusual. Medusa is definitely more of an Asian ban. There are a few European teams now that really do prioritize picking that hero.
Yeah, but in Southeast Asia it is quite a big thing, especially with Rave and against Rave. being banned quite a lot, and Terrorblade with the Dazzle pick, which combines very well with the Axe, and Dazzle actually a hero that's trending a lot in Europe right now. So, I mean, altogether, this game, the drafts look very similar to what we've been seeing in the West recently.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the question is, does Terrorblade run dual lanes here? Axe, sometimes from CIS teams, we see run in the one role, where you've got, a couple of supports with you, you get a 9-minute blink dagger, or you get a Vanguard first at 6 or 7, then you get a blink at 9 or 11. Or do we see the Dazzle Axe off lane? There are multiple things that Terrorblade can do with these supports. There are multiple facets that really do make them so strong. They've got minus armor from the Vengeful Spirit early, minus armor from the Dazzle later on in the game with Weave. The heal onto Axe, though, that's a really big thing. So VG.P, they pick up a hero that can tank through it all. Bristleback is a great laner, maybe coupled up with the Witch Doctor. One roll Bristleback, a possibility here.
Yeah, and Witch Doctor, I was just thinking, if Axe and Dazzle do try that aggressive dual lane, Witch Doctor is one of the better supports against that lane, I think. He's got his long range, high damage harass, he's got the heal, and he's got the cask, which against any 2-hero combo is just a really annoying disable to have to deal with. If they get into some kind of skirmish slightly off the lane, the cask is going to be very significant.
Yep, Terrorblade going to try and round out their draft with a Storm Spirit pickup. Is that going to be mid-Storm against the Shadow Fiend? Because it's definitely, early on, the first 3 minutes or so, that's a skill-on-skill matchup. The Storm can beat the SF, but more likely than not, the Shadow Fiend's going to win out in that lane. When you also have Earthshaker coming in with Fissure, I guess you then have to factor in the, Vengeful Spirit coming in with a Magic Missile and Remnants doing damage to the SF. I feel like that should be a safe lane Storm, and they pick something different for mid.
Well, the Storm vs SF lane, I feel it favors the Storm a bit at the start, then it favors the SF quite a bit, and then when Storm hits 6, there's a chance that he can kill SF, and if he does, then it favors him a lot again. So it depends a lot on the Earthshaker, as you say. If the Earthshaker's there, then the Storm's just going to struggle throughout the lane. But if he is there, then maybe Terrorblade get advantage somewhere else. If they want to run the safe lane Storm, well, that opens them up to maybe an aggressive dual lane of VGPs or even aggressive tri lane, because safe lane Storm is just really bad at laning against anything. When you run a safe lane Storm, it has to be against an off laner.
And Bristleback isn't really the off laner that you want to be facing up against. He can actually harass you out of lane with the Bristleback. One thing we do have to point out, though, is that Terrorblade are Radiant, so they've got that Radiant jungle advantage. With the Storm Spirit, he can dip back into the large camp and medium camp and just farm up in between waves, while Shadow Fiend has a little longer to run. He's got to head over to those large camps, hope that the Witch Doctor stacks them up for him. Although Earthshaker, if he's moving around between lanes, he can do the stacking.
So, are we expecting a safe lane Bristleback here, since Terrorblade banned Centaur? And certainly VG.P are expecting a mid Storm Spirit because they banned Anti-Mage. And I guess these teams know each other better than we know either of them.
I think they're just safe bans overall. Bristleback, this is what we're seeing so often from drafts nowadays. Just heroes that can go into multiple roles. You've got to try and basically play the odds. Try and guess who's going where. Off-lane Quap? Mid-Quap? Shadow Fiend obviously could still go safe lane. That's something that we haven't really touched on. Could have SF safe lane, Bristle off, Queen mid.
I think it's actually just safe lane Quap. I think we see her there more and more these days.
Oh, against the Storm. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Queen of Pain is not... I mean, the supports can leave her a lot then. So, ES could be roaming, Witch Doctor could be stacking. Maybe Witch Doctor even goes to that off lane with the Bristleback. And a Lone Druid being picked up from Terrorblade, a hero that I find quite entertaining to watch. And recently I think we saw, was Rave ran a strategy with Lone Druid where they just kind of snowballed into pushing really early.
Yeah, it was like a 17-minute game over.
Yeah.
I'm having connection issues? No, it looks like it's fine now. I had the red text of death again. But VG.P with Shadow Fiend, Earthshaker, Witch Doctor, Bristleback, and Queen of Pain, Yang once again on the SF. So I think you're right. I did forget about the... we've talked about this quite a lot in SEA Dota, especially. When you've got a Queen of Pain against the Storm Spirit, whoever gets Orchid first tends to become the victor in the game. Regardless of, the rest of your team and how the whole team dynamic's doing, in that 1v1 matchup, whoever gets Orchid first is going to be happy. So with the Queen of Pain safe lane, you can basically just go brown boots into Orchid. You don't have to worry about anything else too much.
Yeah, and Secret will head to that bot lane on the off lane Bristleback. And by the way, in the lobby, I don't know if you saw, I just actually asked, and he confirmed, yeah, it is Lin.
Okay. Whoa. Are you lagging?
Am I lagging?
No, I mean, are you lagging in game? I'm getting super lags. Like, heroes are jumping 1,000 range. I'm not seeing the movement or anything. Oh my god.
Open your console and see if you're getting uncompressed updates. That like pink text that constantly says receiving uncompressed update.
Yes,
are you getting
I
that?
am getting that. How do I fix
you
it?
probably have to restart Steam.
Oh boy. Well,
You gotta leave the game and restart Steam. And
I'm gonna have to change it to the coming up screen and hopefully fix this. Please give us a running update of what's happening.
okay, so creeps have not spawned yet, and looks like VG Gang Potential gonna hope to get both runes again, but this time Terrorblade will probably force them off the bot rune. Yeah, the Axe and the Vengeful Spirits and the Dazzle there. So interesting thing about how Terrorblade choose to lane this, the Axe is actually in the safe lane, Lone Druid in that off lane. And I like this move because there's nothing on the side of VG Gang Potential to stop Lone Druid using his Spirit Bear to just pull the creeps and control the off lane in that way. Well, back when Lone Druid was a super popular offlaner, people would make a concerted effort when they drafted against it to have supports that could handle the Spirit Bear pulls. I mean, Witch Doctor I suppose can stun up that bear, but that's about the best they've got. I don't know if Earthchecker is going to try and fissure block it or something. Well, no, Earthchecker comes in and actually fissure blocks the Lone Druid himself, and he might go down here. Queen of Pain as well. Earthchecker going down, Lone Druid going down, and they're going to go... Are they both going to... No, Earthcheck actually lives, and now Vengeful Spirit's in trouble because Witch Doctor's arrived, and oh goodness, that's 2 kills to the side of VG Gang Potential in what looked so close to being 1-for-1, ended up being 2-for-0. And just as I was saying that this Lone Druid's going to have a nice lane, I mean, he doesn't have his bear now even.
I'm still trying to load in. I'm stuck on the loading screen. This always happens to me. It happened in like a VP game where First Blood was happening as I tried to restart Dota 2. I'm sorry guys for those of you watching, but you saw how bad the lag was. Like that, it was unwatchable. Heroes were not moving at all. And I'm still not loading in.
Dota TV won't be getting anything right now, right?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. Mid lane, Storm Spirits is actually Sparrow's getting the better of Yang in this game. He's 9-for-2 and Yang is 5-for-0 at the moment. And we've got a smoked up Vengeful Spirits with boots. They're gonna try and make a kill on Yang. I think the lane needs to be pushed a bit more, and Venge's smoke is gonna run out. So.
Oh, I'm in the game, but oh my god, this is so super laggy.
You still got uncompressed updates?
Yep.
Okay.
No,
so the only other thing you can try to do is like...
It's okay.
No, it's fine.
We're just not going to talk about it. It's just not going to talk about it. So, 2 kills happened, nothing else yet. Secret down in the spot lane, Bristleback battling it up against Axe, but he gets called under the tower with a heal, Shadow Wave taking him down with a DD from Whitewash. Helping out. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I wanted to say the lane matchups are a lot better for Terrorblade this game. In fact, the way the kills went down in that offlane at the start, I feel like it was very unlikely that something like that could happen. Just that the Earthshaker got a really nice fissure block on the Lone Druid and the Vengeful Spirit was late to arrive. Could easily have gone the other way otherwise.
Right.
Check out this Vengeful Spirit looking for the courier. There's an Earthshaker right here, but is she gonna get it? No, she can't get it with the ES here.
No, and they're taking the long path around. They know that the potential is there. Oh, they've also spotted her out most likely. Dar Observerwood, or did she smoke up to get up there?
She originally smoked, but then her smoke ran out, she went back to the top rune, got the rune, and then she ran without smoke, so they did see her.
So this 1v1 against Axe. Bristleback is doing a pretty damn good job.
Oh, look at the top lane, there's some shenanigans here.
Lone Druid dropped low.
Which looks actually dive past the tower.
Yeah, he's gonna die for this. So he was looking for what? The kill on the Lone Druid, but the 2 supports from the Radiant backing up?
Yeah, the Dazzle TP'd in and healed him. He was like extremely low with Shadow Strike on him, and so Witch Doctor dived past the tower. And then Dazzle TP'd and saved him up, and Vengeful Spirit making the rotation, so Witch Doctor actually goes down. And this game's starting a lot better for Terrorblade than the previous game.
Again, guys, apologies for this. I have finally reconnected back into the game. It looks fine. There's no lag anymore. And then I switched XSplit back onto the game capture, which I forgot to do in my panic.
Do we have the open mic on? Did it maybe reset again? Should you check?
No, it's fine. That's working.
Okay.
I hope. The little bubbles popping up, so unless there's some weird bug where it's showing up, but not actually
Big
working. I don't know.
bubbles.
Chat bubble, please. James is invis here on the Earthshaker, heading towards middle lane, but they're not going to find anyone. How is mid going? Shadow Fiend against Storm. Looks like Storm has taken a pretty nice lead here. But like we said, very early on, unless there are full-on support rotations from the ES to try and stop this, Storm will take a slightly early lead, and then he's always got the Radiant jungle to fall back on. So I'm assuming that, you know, a few of those last hits, maybe even the 6 or 7 that he has over the SF, are from this camp.
Well, certainly he just farmed one camp of Satyrs. I think that was either the first or second time he did farm. I'm not sure if he had one other. But what I want to see is what he gets done now that he has level 6. Obviously he doesn't have enough mana to go for a kill right now. But if he were to bottle up and maybe get the 6-minute rune, he could easily come back and threaten to go on the Shadow Fiend at any point.
Oh, what a shot.
Shaker just kind of covering that mid lane. So I think they know. I think the Earthshaker's pretty much been covering this mid lane since the start of the game. He got that one fish in the top lane where they got the first blood, and since then he literally has only been middle.
Okay. What a start to the day. Okay. Dire jungle being stacked up here, so they've got a few large camps for the Shadow Fiend. He does have that longer walk to try and take those down with razors, but now he's level 6. He's got level 3 up in razors. He's pretty happy with this. Just push out the wave with double raise. He is a little bit limited on mana, and the Radiant are doing a really good job here of controlling runes. Oh, Storm. He zipped forward, but the Earthshaker's here, ready with the Fisher. Yang's still going to get gone on here. Sparrow wants more. Vengeful Spirit does lock him down with a magic missile, and they finish him off in style.
Yeah,
so
very timiest haste rune. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, the haste rune spawned, and as it spawned, that's when the storm went. So I suppose that's what the core is based on, maybe.
Well, the Earthshaker did his damn best, but the Radiant doing an excellent job of controlling those runes. Axe now going to get gone on by Secret, but the Grave a little bit early there. Axe is probably going to go down before he gets a counter kill, especially when the Queen of Pain's arriving. 2 kills? Yeah, looks like a sonic wave just hurled into the trees. Knowing where Dazzle is.
This is going to free up some space for this Lone Druid to farm, and he's been struggling a lot ever since he died first blood. And he might be able to get, you know, a few waves of free creeps against this Witch Doctor. In fact, Witch Doctor tries to lane too far down the lane against him. He could just die. One entangle, I think.
I think the only thing the Witch Doctor can rely on is the fact that the Spirit Bear doesn't have boots. He's got the brown boots on his hero. How much gold does he have? He's going to buy boots now on the bear, isn't he? Yep, so Witch Doctor can no longer rely on that. Yang heads back into the jungle. The Wild Wing Ripper praising the sun there, lifting up his wings, just flapping them around. I'm not sure why the jungle creeps have their animations bug out like that. Sometimes, you know, they're humping each other in the jungle, they're glitching out. Sometimes they just stand there like a statue.
Yeah, I think it's their way of protesting against being stacked and farmed all the time. You know, they're like, we are people too. We can be creative and dance and stuff. But yeah, they're never going to get anywhere with those protests.
No, they're still going to get cleared out and killed. Once again, Radiant controlling runes. Bot rune is going to be a little bit late. Axe isn't going to go for that one because Bristleback, well, Queen of Pain and Bristleback are already in the area. Bristle's been stacking Ancients of his own, not warded up this time from the Radiant, while over on their side, they don't really have an Ancient taking hero.
Yeah, and the Lone Druid has actually picked up a Quelling Blade on his Spirit Bear now as well. So really wanting to make sure he makes the most of the time he has in this lane where Queen of Pain isn't here. And Queen of Pain on the other end is showing no sign of actually coming back. She's stealing some stacks from the enemy jungle. And the poor Lone Druid doesn't know. He's been playing this lane so defensively in the last minute or two. And I think it's just because he doesn't know that it's only a Witch Doctor. He's not sure if someone else is nearby or coming by. And calls the Vengeful Spirit to help him, and he'll probably start farming more aggressively now.
Yeah, most likely. He can go for kills on his Witch Doctor, like we said, with the entangling roots on that Spirit Bear. Can catch off the Witch Doctor. Though looking at mid lane, Queen of Pain is actually aggressive jungling. She is playing a jungle hero right now. Giving James a little bit of golden experience, you know, they're catching up. This was something we used to see very early on in Dota 2, or even in Dota 1. When Queen of Pain was played mid, or when, you know, heroes that can flash farm were played mid, on their way to the gank. Oh, worse. Shaker Fish just dropped, but the ball lightning was too quick. Culling Blade gonna slam him into the ground, and quick and easy one on the ES. But when, you know, ganking heroes or mid-snowball heroes were played, every time they moved towards a lane to get a kill, they would clear out 1 or 2 jungle camps. It's kind of what Queen of Pain's doing here. It's just that hyper-efficiency. Sure, you're losing out on mana, but you don't need your full mana pool to get 1 kill.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the net worth, Queen of Pain is top of it, and that's certainly a part of it. Right? She has been involved. She's made 2 kills and gotten 2 assists, but she's also pretty much always been doing something. She's either fighting or she's farming, regardless of where she is on the map.
Yeah, she's never at that stage where she's walking around not really doing too much. Dazzle has been given some experience down on this bot lane, while Axe finishes off his blink in the jungle. 200 gold away from that. It's a little bit late for a safe lane Axe, but he has been killed. He has been shot down quite a lot.
This Lone Druid is a very interesting looking true form. This is the Beast of the Iron Claw.
Huh. He doesn't look too happy.
Yeah, he looks pretty angry actually.
He's got red eyes. He looks, I don't know, he has just come out of hibernation. He's hungover and high as shit.
Yeah, he's saying come at me, bro.
Why does he look okay, whatever. He's an angry bear. We'll just leave him alone. We're not gonna get into this anymore. Axe has his blink dagger completed, but again, Secret is in the jungle. VG.P are doing this so brilliantly. You know, they're pushing out the lanes, they're farming enemy jungle. This is something you see from European teams 15 to 20 minutes in. They go and take a team fight, and then they take over the enemy jungle. They take down towers. But the Dire are doing this in between farming lanes. It kind of makes me think of, oh man, Axe's first blink call up into the top lane. Let's have a quap.
And it's a very big kill because she was the net worth leader. So, the question I want to ask, why is Yang going Yules this game as opposed to the mech he went last game? Like, what's different in the 2 games that calls for the Yules this time?
Possibly the Dazzle. But, you know, there's the Venge swap, there's Axe blinking and calling, Storm Spirit has the zip, so there's lots of maneuverability and displacement abilities. With the Yules, you can send someone up and insta-kill them, before they can get swapped, before they can ball lightning. So I think that's one of the main factors there, is if he goes for mech, it's going to be actually hard for him to kill anyone.
I suppose they may be also taking a less direct approach. With the mech, they were planning on pushing. I mean, they started sieging towers immediately after the lane stage, whereas in this game it looks like they're not actually in a position to do that. They've got some kind of gold lead here, but it's a pretty minor one. And they're up against an Axe, which is gonna play right into the Axe's hands.
Yeah, goes jump with the Berserker's Call. Not gonna miss this one as he slam dunks the Quap into the ground. TP there, reaction a little bit too slow. But even if it was on time, the Queen of Pain's dead, and I doubt you get a counter kill. So Terrorblade doing very well. Queen of Pain
a really nice hero for Axe to hunt. Actually, if you land the call, it's pretty much always a kill. You know, she relies so much on her blink to survive.
Yeah.
So
she can sit. No, she's definitely going into that orchid, and it's an item you can't really give up. But afterwards, do you go for Yules or something? Because you're gonna get caught out every single time. There's nothing really to save you.
I think the Queen of Pain's plan has to be to not get caught out. That's her plan. I mean, the fact that she has a long range blink means she doesn't need to be standing in an exposed position where the Axe can get her. So if she's thinking a lot about the Axe, she should be able to avoid him. The Storm Spirit, on the other hand, is going to be a lot harder for her to avoid. But as we've said before, that's going to depend a lot on, you know, how fast does he get Orchid? Is he even going Orchid? Because he's got that Soul Ring. I'm not sure if you crash the Orchid. And how fast does she get Orchid? Which she definitely is going.
No, she's not too far away. Storm Spirit, how are you looking? Soul Ring, Treads, Bottle, 1600 gold, while the Quap with Treads and halfway towards Orchid. Yules is ready for the Shadow Fiend, and he's got level 2 Requiem. They could just go for the... Okay, they're not. They know there's support staying behind. Blink from the Axe, gonna catch out the Shadow Fiend. But the Fisher are pretty damn good there from James. Just blocking out the rest of the team. Storm just jump in though, and they're gonna get a kill on the SF. Requiem flies out onto 4 members of TB, but it doesn't kill anyone. The Cask and Death Ward might just do this though. Bristleback runs in and finds the Axe. Death Ward not quite finishing off the Venge, but the Quap, along with the Bristleback, enough burst damage to finish her. As Sparrow just zipping and zipping. Secret might turn around here and fight. He's got pretty low HP and a couple more right clicks, but he's tanking the hell out of these hits. Bottling up through them. Oh, now another cast doesn't bounce. Yes, it does. Back onto the Dazzle. Sparrow zips to the low ground, but the Dazzle not going to have the same option. Shadow Fiend lost, but 3 heroes in return.
I want to actually, I'm just checking the combat log quickly, because that's, I mean,
the blocks from Secret?
Yeah, that was just outrageous. I mean, he was being hit in the back a lot, but he was on like 100 HP. Storm Spirit hit him with Overload about, I don't know, 4 or 5 times and he didn't die.
Well, then you had the Dazzle hitting him as well.
Going back to how that fight started, where Shadow Fiend ran in with the Yules and didn't want to go for the Requiem, part of that is that they sense there's enemies nearby, they saw the Dazzle. Yeah. But one of the interesting interactions there as well is that Shadow Fiend, if he doesn't have Blink, if you yield someone at max range, you can't actually get the proper Requiem off. You need to be like slightly closer than max range, otherwise you can't walk right under them and get the full damage Requiem. So I think when you get the max range Yules off, you sometimes want to reconsider walking in and going for the Requiem. But in the meantime, I don't know if you saw Lin or Secret just went and stole an Ancient Stack on the Radiant side.
How big was it?
It was big. It was at least a 3 stack, maybe 4, I'm not sure.
Oh boy. So Secret now with a Sanj. Halberd, yeah. I don't think you really go for that. It's going to be Sanj and Yasha. Go for the DPS kind of build. Axe is on the front lines here. He's going to Berserker's Call, but still caught out. Requiem after Yules. Going to drop him low, but not low enough to kill him. And then the Grave from Dazzle, just keeping him sustaining, fighting through it. A couple of lucky spins will do a bit of damage back, but he gets taken down nonetheless. It's time for Terrorblade to back out of this. Whitewash. Oh man. Sonic wave to the face after the Scream of Pain. And Lone Druid Bear getting dropped super low. Secret is not giving up here. Sparrow's going to Vortex him and keep him locked under the tower. And a Magic Missile as well, but they're just getting dismantled. Manhandled and destroyed by VG. Terrorblade. Yeah. Sparrow has to zip away. He has to TP out. Lone Druid has already returned to bot lane to farm. I don't know.
I feel like after they couldn't kill Bristleback in the previous fight and now he had an extra item, the VG game potential were like, Bristleback's not going to die, let's just keep going pretty much forever. And that's what Terrorblade are going to be thinking about now as well. How do we handle this Bristleback?
Oh, the first Orchid? Where is it? Okay, the fun Storm. I thought Queen of Pain jumped aggressively, but the Storm didn't TP, he just kept on running.
Yeah, he's going to be fine though, because Queen of Pain was on her own when she Orchided him. I mean, what's the best way for them to kill Bristleback? Does the Axe have to call the Bristleback and like forget about the Cop or the Shadow Fiend?
I think they have to weave the Bristleback and then fight him, you know, start fighting him midway through the duration so that he's got pretty low armor. And then as they're killing him, he's got the lowest armor he possibly could have. Swap him into Storm and Lone Druid. I don't know. It kind of requires a Vortex and an Entangling Roots and a Call. Maybe you just ignore him in team fights. He isn't really a hero that you often want to ignore because obviously the Quill Sprays are stacking up and with Warpath he does a ton of damage.
If you have a good way to kill all his teammates, it's probably fine to ignore him and then try to deal with them later, but you need to be very efficient at the kills you are making then. What's the Angry Bear saving up for? Is he going to go for Radiance?
It looks like Radiance.
Yeah, that's the common thing to save up for, especially in the Chinese scene, so that could be a big item pickup, I think, in this game. Suddenly he'll go from being something of a liability, just like taking farm of the map, not really giving anything back, to a very important force to reckon with for VG game potential. They'll have to actually care about him.
Well, Whitewash with Arcane Boots, Sparrow. His item progression is halted. Okay. He's nearly got Bloodstone. I was going to say that he's looking a little bit worse for wear gold-wise, but he's got the majority of the Bloodstone on the Courier. Just needs, what, the Energy Booster and Recipe? No, he just needs the Energy Booster, in fact. So he's very close. Is he finished in? No, he needs 1,000 gold. I managed to check the Courier and then check Storm in between him having most of the components and buying Recipe. I thought that maybe he had enough gold to just finish it off and buy the Energy Booster, but that gold was used on the Recipe.
Well, rashing this Bloodstone, because the Quap did go Orchid, he's going to be quite dependent on his teammates to protect him. If they initiate on the Storm with the Orchid and like a Fissure, maybe a Shadow Raise or two, Storm could just go down if not saved by Axe Call or Dazzle Heal or Venge Swap. I mean, there are a few things to save him, but he's trusting his teammates. And for example now, when he's split pushing, look, Quap's going back, she's going to come try kill him, and no one can save him now. If he gets caught, he's pretty much just dead.
Yeah, if you don't zip right now, you're dead. You're dead. Orchid, Scream, dead. Dead, dead, dead. But back to your point about things to save the Storm. Dazzle is focusing very heavily on keeping the Axe alive, because he's the one in the middle of the team fights brawling away. If Storm gets caught out, then yeah, I can see your point. You know, you swap him, you heal him, whatever. But then all of your stuff's on cooldown. Axe can't reinitiate without fearing death.
Man, I'm so tired of seeing this bristleback now. Feels like every second game we cast there's this bristleback that no one can kill, and it's just like the most oppressive force in the game. It's a strong hero, this.
If you give him an early start, and you don't have, you know, spells like Maledict or Midnight Pulse, things that do percentage based or, you know, can amplify damage up against him, Slardar even, it gets difficult. It gets really difficult. You know, I did mention that Terrorblade have Dazzle, so that level 1 weave will help them a lot, but it's not going to make the biggest difference in team fights.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Slaughter. Apparently, that's what's trending at the moment in pub games as a counter to Bristleback. People picking up Slaughter.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not sure if it's a hard counter. I mean, you still want to hit him from the front. But yeah, the amplified damage does definitely, because then he doesn't have the armor to tank with. He's got all the other stuff, but the armor is like totally irrelevant. In fact, he'll have negative armor.
And quite often on Slaughter, you know, you go for the blink call. Catching out Triple S here, Queen of Pain not able to blink away, gets culling bladed and dunked by the Axe.
I don't think he even blinked. They were just waiting here on this ramp, and the Queen of Pain sort of walked into them, and he just said, "Hello, welcome to my ramp."
Man, Yang getting rooted, went for a solo kill on the bear, but the Lone Druid a little bit too tanky. Secret has come in though. He knows Sparrow has no mana. Clicks on the hero, realizes, hang on, he's got nothing left. There's no stun or anything though. They tried to bring him down during the TP. Venge, 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 Fisher! You're not escaping from this, my friend.
So a lot of important pickups going to be on the Radiant side soon. I thought that the Axe was going for, oh well, Blink Core.
Yeah, Blink Core at 3. The Culling Blade not fast enough. Well, too fast in fact. Not going below the threshold there. They grave him up. They keep on fighting Secret, running through the midst. Getting, oh, look at that. He basically 2 hits the Dazzle there. With the Warpath charges, is he not backing up? No, he's dying. There's no one to bring him back and save him. So VG.P, you know, they take 3 kills, 2 supports on the Axe, but they lose a hell of a lot with that Bristle dying. Did he have a streak? Unstoppable streak going the way of Lone Druid, who now has 5,500 gold.
Yeah, so Radiance will be up, the career's on its way. Bloodstone got finished just before that fight started, so Storm got some Bloodstone charges. And Axe, I wanted to save it right before he initiated. It looked like he was going Blade Mail, because he started with that Robe of the Magi, but he's actually got an Ogre Club now, so he's going to be going for BKB by the looks of it.
Yeah, try and block up against that Fisher and Cask. They're very annoying spells, but also the Yules. Because if you blink Berserker Call in and you get Yules'd up, there's the strong potential that you die or the rest of your team dies. You know, you get sent up in the air, they focus down the rest of your team, or they just kill you straight up. Triple S has a DD. It looks like he's going to be building into... See, I was going to say Hex, but I'm going to change my mind and say Lincolns. So often on QoP we see at least one defensive item after the aggressive one. And against Storm, Vengeful Spirit, Dazzle, you know, you've got a few single target abilities there, but it's mainly the Storm Spirit with the Vortex, I feel.
Well, we're gonna keep having this debate, I guess, because you're always saying Lincolns and I'm always saying Hex. I still think he gets Hex, but there's a big smoke here.
Yep, onto Secret. They get him locked down, but the Axe now in a lot of trouble. The Grave has to come out defensively. Vengeful Spirit gonna give her life for this as Axe stands like a man, fights it up. It looks like Terrorblade are just losing too many heroes here. 2 are down, Shadowfiend and the Bristleback just keep on fighting. As they find Sparrow and Whitewash up at top, Yang gonna drop into the Storm, who just about gets enough damage down, but Triple S for the Orchid. Denial from the Bloodstone, but that's a team wipe.
Yeah, only Shadowfiend dying, and I think that Terrorblade just didn't realize that their entire Vici gang potential was right there. As the fight started, there were 4 heroes smoked up behind.
It looks like tier 3, maybe melee ranks. I don't think they can take a full lane of ranks here. It might just be tier 3. Storm gonna do the ball lightning TP trick.
Yeah, dealing quite a bit of damage, and yeah, the respawns are just too fast at this point. So I don't think they even get the tower.
Oh, no TP, no tier 3 even. How much did VG.P give up in that team fight?
You're right, she got linked.
Ah, yes. Ah, yes.
Another point to Durka.
The only reason I say Lincolns is the majority of the time we see these heroes picking up, you know, an aggressive item. Picking up a Hex on top just feels a little bit overzealous. And the one time that she's died that wasn't, you know, her fault, it wasn't after she blinked forward, was that one time near her tier 2. They blink called her, but the thing that killed her was the vortex afterwards. She had enough HP to blink out if there wasn't that vortex. Orchid onto Dazzle, boy oh boy.
I suppose the Orchid's been enough for her to make kills so far. She hasn't actually needed the Hex, so there's also that.
Secret chasing Terrorblade back into their base.
And this Shadow Fiend, I feel like his impact has been a lot lower in this game than the previous game.
This has been the Bristleback show.
Blink. Yep. And Shadow Fiend's gonna have like a Scardy soon, but I don't feel like he's gotten matched down with his Yules and Blink. I mean, look at him, 1 and 3. He's got a bunch of assists, but have we seen him Yules into instant kill with Requiem yet? I don't think it's happened this game.
He tried on the Lone Druid and didn't get it off. The Lone Druid was just too tanky for him. Then there was a Spirit Bearer in the way. There's all sorts of nonsense going on. I just looked at the courier though. 2 plate mails. 1 for Secret, 1 for Triple S. So we're going to see an AC and a Shiva's coming at, what, around the same time? The Shiva's a little bit later maybe because the Queen of Pain is lagging behind on in terms of how much gold she saved up.
Well, she just finished Lincoln's like 2 minutes ago, so
yeah,
I forgive her.
Well, the Dire know that there's no glyph for a couple of minutes, so they can take tier 2 without much pressure on them. Roshan respawning in a minute and a half, or... That's pretty good for them. But they've got themselves planted in the enemy jungle. It means that Axe, Storm, Lone Druid, they can't farm up. Spirit Bearer is up at top lane though. Along with Storm Spirit just split pushing away.
Axe and Storm are both about to finish BKB. They're going to have them ready right before this fight. It could be a big deal.
And I guess you just buy it up. You don't care about buybacks.
Nah, yeah, it's too big of an item pickup to not buy. Who do they go on?
That...
Or they just send the angry bear in front and wait?
That's a really good question, actually. Do they try and find the Earthshaker first? Do they go... Well, because I'm looking at these 3 cores. And they're all so difficult to kill. You're right. You cannot go on the Bristleback, surely. He is basically someone that you cannot go on first and insta-kill. Queen of Pain is difficult because of the Lincolns. You can't jump in, call, then stun or vortex. So it's got to be the SF. The Witch Doctor, Earthshaker, maybe if you see them first and you can actually insta-kill them, but Shadow Fiend has to be the target. Right?
Yeah, I suppose if someone's isolated, they can go on anyone, assuming that person's isolated. If no one's isolated, it almost feels like they're gonna wait for people to go up their ramp. In that base defense situation, they won't initiate until the enemies are on the ramp in an awkward position. And Yang playing around with his ulti, just cancelling the animation, makes a whole lot of noise.
Well, I'm glad that they've. Does the Arcana have a different noise for Requiem? Because I remember about a year and a half ago, the Requiem sound clip was bugged out. If you animation cancelled, you'd get all sorts of like static and like destroy your ears because it would clip itself. But
I think it is a different sound.
So maybe that still happens with the original one, but the Arcana one sounds nice. Lone Druid, what have you got yourself? 2,000 gold on top of that Radiance. I think his main job right now is just split pushing lanes. Keep VG.P outside of their base for as long as they can.
Yeah, it feels like this this Lone Druid with that true form should have like a different Spirit Bear. Spirit Bear still looks too like silly and funny and happy, and the Master's so angry.
Oh, Stormy jumps in to try and steal it, but he doesn't quite. And now he might be in trouble. He zips away, does have a TP, so he'll manage to escape from this. Yang can't get the Yules off because of that BKB.
Well, super close. He very nearly did get it.
But yeah, that Spirit Bear he's got is sort of cute, prancing around. The little panda. It's definitely not the bear that comes with that true form. I don't know if there is one, or if he's just chosen to use the Spirit Bear he's got now. Triple S.
Yeah, it seems like that combination is like there's some kind of child abuse going on there or something. Not a happy home.
He's so cute, dancing around, and there's the angry old guy throwing plates at the walls and stuff like that. Well, looks like VG.P, they're going to push up onto high ground here. Yang just hammering away at that tier 3 tower. Aegis Immortal, Blink, Skadi. And is he going to buy a Hex? He's got another ultimate orb. Could be Lincoln's, but I think this time I'm going to say Hex, and then you can say Lincoln's.
Okay, I'll happily say. Actually, I'll say Manta. How about that?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I kind of forgot about Manta. You know, so often you see the Yasha first, and that's what triggers the Manta thought in my head. But Secret just keep on going on these towers. They need something special here from Terrorblade to actually stop them. Pipe is completed on the Lone Druid, so they've got something to sustain through the magic damage here from, you know, Earthshaker blinking in. But they just don't do enough damage right now.
Yeah, and it's that issue we were talking about. They're not sure who to go on, and they end up losing a Rax, still deciding if they should go on anyone. Eventually going to have to make a decision, or they're going to lose all their Axes, I swear.
They're going to lose all their heroes. Storm, okay, he goes on the Queen of Pain. Lincoln's is popped, though. Doesn't get the Vortex down as Yang and Secret both called in. Sonic Wave flies across two of them. Storm Sprint. Oh, man, that Death Ward in the midst of battle. Secret keeps on fighting, tanking through everything. They're going to throw down one last Fisher, take down the melee ranks. It looks like it's not going to be too much of a problem here for VG.P. Just to clean up the base. Storm? Storm?
That fight would be pretty good for Terrorblade if Shadow Fiend doesn't have Aegis.
Yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't respawn, that would be very good for them. Does Lone Druid? No, he does not have a secondary bear. So 100 seconds without Spirit Bear now. VG.P probably going to be taking this advantage all the way to the bank. Oh, if Yang had vision there, Storm probably just dies.
Yeah, Sparrow doing absolutely everything he can to slow them down, but at this point it's just like gimmicks, I think. I mean, their axes are dead, and no amount of TP into roll or roll into TP tricks are going to be enough to defend the base on their own. So Bristleback has AC and Queen of Pain has Shivas. Those items both being finished. We'll probably see very soon what Shadow Fiend is going to do with his ultimate orb.
Nah, he'll just keep it a naked ultimate orb, you know? One of the least cost-efficient items in the game. Ultimate orb is pretty damn awful, but it combines up into some really good things. James, Blink Dagger, Arcane Boots. Does he have anything on the Courier? Ghost Scepter for him.
Don't you think Ultimate Orb is a weird name? Like, it has nothing to do with ultimates, doesn't improve your ultimate in any way, and it's not like there's all these other orbs that like this is the ultimate one. It's like, so like, why is it even called that?
Yeah, I don't know. Because
it almost seems like a joke. It's like because it's such a bad item.
It's
like,
the ultimate orb.
Yeah.
It's like you see on those daytime teleshopping. Buy it now. It's only $19.99 and then $20 shipping. But don't remember the shipping. We're gonna put this in the small print.
The ultimate orb.
Like, do you have something like? I guess you have QVC, but there's a brand in England called JML where, like, if a guy has an idea, like, oh, I'll come back to this later. Yang gets jumped on here by Berserker's Call and the Storm Sprint. Might get dropped here. The Death Ward and Self-Fuels. Okay, he keeps himself alive for a little bit longer as the Axe does not have the Dazzle to back him up. The rest of VG.P just cleaning up house as Terrorblade once again are losing heroes left, right, and center. Secret.
Yeah. Dogfights with that Witch Doctor Aghanims just like absolutely destroyed them. The damage coming out of that Death Ward was insane.
It looks like VG.P are well on their way to securing this game and taking out Terrorblade. But yeah,
and this will qualify them for the qualifier.
This will push them through to the group stage.
Oh, okay.
I'm refraining from using the qualifier word. GG called by the Vengeful Spirit. And VG.P gonna take game number 2 in its best of 3, so securing themselves that group stage place in the D2CL Chinese qualifier. So what do we have coming up next? What do we have coming up next? So it's Tong Fu against C-Deck, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
We have Tong Fu Wanzhou up against C-Deck in it's scheduled for 12 or midday CET, so that's an hour and a half. But it may be earlier. I'll keep you guys up to date. I'll keep the stream running. Thanks guys for watching and tuning in. I've been Durka. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at DurkaDota. Joining me, Scant. Follow him on Twitter at Scansaw. Thanks, Scant. You might be leaving for the second series, but we'll see how things go.
Because this one finished early, I think I might be back, but yeah, I'll stay in contact with you.
Okay. Well, stay tuned, guys. I'll just switch over to the holding screen, show you the cool little advert that they've got as well. But stay tuned for updates.